Hey up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. The experiment with trying to train an AI clone of my voice was a dead loss, so it's back to listening to the actual me. This is one to help the new riders, but I'm sure it will jog a few memories of what it was like to start on your path into the world of two wheels. You've got the bug, eh? The motorcycle bug, that is. You're itching to get out on two wheels, feel the wind in your hair, or on your helmet preferably, and experience the freedom of the open road. Fantastic. But before you twist that throttle, let's chat about some of the things I wish someone had clued me in on when I first started riding. Before we start, if you enjoy the video, try and remember to hit the like button too if you could. It costs nothing and helps the channel a lot. And if you subscribe, it means, at least in theory, that you get to find out first when our latest videos are released. Now, let's get to the video. First, let's talk about your first bike. The temptation is to go straight for that big, shiny new machine is understandable, but trust me on this, start with a smaller capacity used bike. There's absolutely no reason to buy a brand new bike from a dealership. Why? That's simple. As soon as you enter the dealership to buy, your wallet will feel lighter, but when you ride out of the dealership, your new pride and joy is already in negative equity. Let's be honest, you're probably going to drop it at some point. It happens to the best of us, especially when you're learning. A used bike won't sting quite as much when you scratch it. Also, you might know what sort of bike you like, but you won't know what sort of bike suits you best. Buying a second-hand one means you can get a nice bike for a good price. For example, someone told us they wanted something in the 300 to 400cc range, an MT-03, Z400, Duke 390, and then they bought a Z400 from 2023 with 1600 kilometers on it for only €4,500. In Italy, it comes in for around €6,300, so that's a big difference for an almost new bike. As you ride, you can gradually work out which bike suits you best too. Next, we come to a topic of stalling, something every rider experiences. You will stall, likely multiple times in short succession. Happens to all of us. Don't beat yourself up about it, it's part of the learning curve. The key is to stay calm, take a deep breath, and go through the motions. Clutch in, neutral, start, first gear, and gently release the clutch while giving it some throttle. Practice makes perfect. Just practice in a car park or a field somewhere, and get used to feeling the bite of the clutch. Two of the fundamentals of riding are clutch control and throttle control. They are absolutely crucial, especially for new riders. As a new rider, it's easy to pull out onto the open road and stall mid-turn. Your bones will thank you for practicing. The throttle is your friend. Learn to control it. Once you have throttle control down, you are less likely to stall and will manage tight turns much more easily. Practice smooth clutch engagement and throttle application, get a feel for the friction zone or the bite of the clutch, and that is the point where the clutch starts to engage. Learn to use the throttle and clutch together to help you keep the bike balanced at low speeds. New tyres may seem basic, and they are night and day compared to old tyres. Buying new tyres is always the best option. Old tyres just don't grip as well. But there is something you might not realise. New tyres will take time to bed in. Never try to ride fast on new rubber. It's a recipe for disaster. The oils in the tyre carcass will rise to the surface as the tyre warms up for the first few times, and this can make your new tyres very slippy. Take your time, especially in the corners. 1 or 2 decent rides will be enough to bed them in and scuff up the surface a little so the tyre can work properly. Next, let's talk about gear. We're not just talking about helmets here, although that is a biggie. More on that in a minute. I'm talking about full gear, helmet, jacket, trousers, gloves and boots. All the time, even for short trips. Road rash and broken bones really aren't fun, and it's a well-established fact that most accidents happen within a 5-mile radius of home. At least in the UK they do. I know it can be tempting to go out in a t-shirt and shorts when it's hot, but it's just not worth the risk. One little spill and you'll be wishing you had that extra layer of protection. If it's hot outside, just sweat it out. Don't be tempted to t-shirt and shorts it. And when it comes to helmets, don't skimp. Spend the money and buy a well-made helmet that fits well. Fitting is key. A helmet that's too big can increase the risk of neck injuries, and one that's too small will just get painful, especially on long journeys. Different manufacturers have slightly different shaped shells too, so go to a shop that sells several brands and try them for yourself before you buy. Something else you need to think about is visibility on the road. We all know drivers aren't always looking out for motorcycles or anything else outside of their bubble, so it's up to us to make sure we get noticed. Wearing high-vis clothing is always a good option, and I personally wear a bright orange fluoro lid. But whatever colour you choose, get a solid colour helmet that will stand out from the background. I never did until I watched a YouTube video one day of a guy coming over the crest of a bridge, and the patterned helmet was perfectly camouflaged against the trees behind him. It made him almost invisible from the neck up, which was the first bit anyone would see. Yes, car drivers can be idiots, but don't give them any excuses. They aren't looking out for us, so we must ride with that always in mind. Anything bright yellow or orange is a good start, and adding reflective strips to your bike or gear can help too. Driving lights are another option, especially if you're out a lot at night. The more visible you are, the better your chances of survival. Now, let's move on to the many hazards on the road, and that all-important word, observation. Those autumn leaves might look beautiful, but they can be lethal too. Wet leaves are crazy slippery and can form a sliding mat that will mean even the best brakes are completely useless. Don't forget about ruts, rails and tar snakes too. Those little strips of sealant that they use to fill cracks in the road. They can be incredibly slippery, especially when it's wet. Treat them with respect. Ruts can easily disrupt your steering too. Relax. Don't grip the bars with an iron fist, and get used to moving your body to keep the bike as well balanced as possible. This is where riding around a field, getting used to how you can control the bike, is probably one of the best things you can do. Body position, weighting the pegs, counter steer and balance will all help you improve your control of the motorcycle, so just practice, ask and learn. Now, a lot of riders will skip this, especially on shorter trips, but even on a quick blast around the block, earplugs can make a big difference. It might seem a bit dull, but trust me, it may save your ears. Seriously, if you invest in a good set of earplugs and wear them every time you ride, you might not end up as deaf as me. No matter how short the trip, that constant wind noise is doing serious damage to your hearing. Think of it like this. You wouldn't skip your helmet, would you? Well, your ears deserve the same protection. Also, go and do some track days as soon as possible if you want to ride better, or maybe even do some proper off-road training. It took me years to hit the track as a rider, but I learned more in the first day than in years of riding on the roads. And most importantly, have fun. I'm keen to hear your own tips in the comments below. What do you wish you had known before you started riding? Tell me the things that you think a young rider should remember. And for those younger riders watching, always enjoy the ride. Keep it shiny side up and welcome. The new habit you have found is addictive, At times it will consume your every waking thought and bleed into your dreams. But a life on two wheels is a life filled with passion and adventure. So go and enjoy it. Welcome to the dark side. You will never regret it. Thanks as always to everyone, but especially the Barebones MC family who support me with donations. Without them, none of this would be possible. Try and remember to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Sharing the video anywhere you think people will be interested helps us too now the YouTube algorithm has thrown us in the bin again. And if you would like to help us to stay truly independent, you can make a one-off donation or join our group of monthly subscribers on the Ko-fi link on screen. I can't add it here because YouTube won't let me, but it is in the video description and on the community tab on the main channel. Monthly subscribers get access to a private group where I share videos I can't screen on YouTube, and people who make a one-off donation will get exactly the same access as the monthly subscribers, but it resets after 30 days. That means for a minimum donation of just £1, you get to see if you think the extra content is worth more than £1 a month. And if you do, you choose the amount you can afford to chip in each month. Remember, we make the best biker t-shirts too. With original designs throughout, we have hundreds of the best biker t-shirts anywhere. Take a look around the shop to see what's on offer. We have quality t-shirts, graphic print t-shirts and neck gaiters, all available worldwide. Whatever you ride, there is something for everyone. And if you can't find what you want, drop me a line. Custom work is not a problem. Links to the main website and the Redbubble shop are on the main channel. But as I said, I can't post links here. Just go to the barebonesmc.com website or to the main channel page for all the links. Thanks as always to all the supporters for your help keeping the channel going. You are Barebones MC. Have a great week and always remember, keep your spanners close and your keys even closer. Ride free everyone!